You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
I'm Closky.
Back again, and we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your very first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. We are pleased to be joined by WTSP Channel 10 Sports Director Evan Closky. And Evan, let's get right into this. You put out a fun, interesting tweet the other day, and I'll just read it verbatim and let you answer it and let Ulises answer it and see where we fall on this line. You put out on August 15th, 2022 at 9:49 p.m. If I told you entering 2023, Taylor Walls will hit 230 batting average, would you want to move Wander Franco off of shortstop to accommodate him?
My answer is no. My answer is Wander Franco is your shortstop, and Taylor Walls has to learn how to be an all-star second baseman the way that he fields at shortstop comfortably. But it was interesting to see how many people were actually pro Taylor Walls in that debate. And, you know, I picked that number. I didn't want to be hyperbolic and give him like a 260 batting average, something that KK would have done probably at his peak, which is why I picked 230, which is kind of the in-between of the best of KK and the worst of KK and what we've seen in his batting averages. But, you know, even though Taylor Walls is advanced statistics fielding-wise are really nothing special, there certainly is a night and day difference between what we're seeing with him at that position now versus what we saw in April and May, where for 6 weeks he was an absolute mess, which is, right. I mean, you can run back the episodes of me just screaming at the sky, being like, if he ain't going to field, get him off the field. But yeah, I mean, Wander Franco is still, he's your investment. He's your guy. I think there's definitely a little bit of, he's been gone for so long, people kind of, right. And not to mention he was playing hurt and was not himself, and you got a discounted version of him that people kind of forget who he is and what he can do and how good of a fielder he is as well. But it was certainly something that I wanted to gauge the crowd, and it definitely was. I mean, there were definitely some Wallsy people out there. Yes. I'm sure that was Kevin using like 5 of his accounts that he his ghost accounts that he goes in and writes comments.
That's my burner account, like Kevin Durant. Yeah. I wish I had that much free time. I really do. It would be a gift if I had that luxury. But and we will get to those comments because they are interesting. So you're a hard no. Now, Evan, before I get Ulises' take on this, would there be a threshold? Say it was 270, 260 for Taylor Walls.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, I mean, if you're talking about a 270 hitter, I mean, there might be a discussion we can have putting him at third base. But again, when you build out this team long term, you have to like properly discuss where all the pieces are going to go, right? We're all pretty high on Curtis Mead. So Curtis Mead's probably your future third baseman. And Wander is only going to go at shortstop or second base. And if I have to make sure that one person hits well, it's got to, and not screwing with him, it's Wander. So that means like Taylor would then move over to second, and then you put Brandon Lau in the Austin Meadows role of DHing and, platooning with Walls to an extent. In that scenario, you have a righty-lefty platoon. And, even though Lau puts up the numbers he puts up, again, you're not paying Lau an exorbitant amount to get a certain, like, we got to use him, like, It's okay if you platoon Lau at his price, and there's a part of me that thinks he needs to platoon a little bit more, that, if teams are throwing lefties at him late in games, you got to pull him out and, maybe put Walsey in there and make them make those moves, whatever it might be. But, Lau's been, I don't know if it's that shoulder injury is screwing with him, because he's hit sort of the funk that we saw before the IL stint there in May. But yeah, it has to be thoroughly discussed. And I do believe that in the offseason, Walls has to really work his tail off at second base, because I think that is his long-term future on this team. That just has to be.
Yeah, and I mean, Brandon Lau, if we get to that point, that conversation, DH first base, fill in at second base. He has played corner outfield before. You can kind of mix and match with him if need be. Ulises, your take on if Taylor Walls could hit 230 in 2023, do you keep him at short? Question.
I would not keep him at short. Wander's your franchise player, and there's something with what have you done for me lately that hits everybody, and they forget how Wander Franco literally ran a ball down while shifted towards second base by the visiting bullpen at Tropicana Field in less than 6 seconds. Like, that's the type of athlete that Wander is, and those type of plays that Wander can do. And he's only going to get better. Let's not forget he's only 21. He is going to improve in every facet of the game. So if you liked what you saw with the glove from Wander, which I did when he was fully healthy, that is only going to improve. So yeah, you keep him at short. Now, that's not a knock on Taylor Walls. I think he has done a fantastic job holding the fort down, defensively speaking, at shortstop. Every time I see a ground ball in the hole towards second base where I know Taylor Walls is located, it's so nice as a fan to not like hold your breath like, oh God, is it going to be a good throw?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's going to be a good throw. I know if it's a bad bounce, he's going to backhand it and pick it. It doesn't matter. Like, it's very comfortable. But like Evan said, his future with the team needs to be off-season work on, I'm going to be as good as a second baseman as I am at short, because short is filled in. And you're great for an injury 3 weeks, Wander's out. Maybe Wander's is going to have an IL stint here and there, playing in the turf, giving all he's got, kind of like the Keke Kiermaier vibe, like, going all out all the time. That might give him a little bit of soft tissue problems. So it would be great to have a Taylor Walls that you can always plug in. The issue is, though, the offense, because you cannot have a Taylor Walls at shortstop when the lineup is the lineup that we've seen in 2022. We talked about it, I think, with Brett Phillips. Like, what kind of roster can you have where Brett Phillips is an adequate piece? It's only when you have an offense that's putting up 5+ runs a game, like the 2021 team. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Taylor Walls. If nothing changes in the offensive side of the ball, you can't carry him, giving him 300+ at bats at shortstop if your offense is nowhere to be seen.
We'll continue on this, but first we have to tell you about BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net, it is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your betting needs. Is it Neander Sternberg calling you, Bendix? Come on here. In the middle of a live read, phone going off. I've probably done that before. Let's give BetOnline the respect that they deserve. They are the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your betting needs. You can find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. So head over to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about all the action happening today. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. To your all's point, I agree. First off, I think Taylor Walls is probably more likely to hit 130 than 230 in a season at this point. Like, let's be frank here. Zach Greinke's probably a better hitter than Taylor Walls is.
Stop it.
Madison Bumgarner. No, seriously. Look at Zach Greinke's career numbers. Maybe not today, but at the height.
Oh my gosh.
All I'm asking for Taylor Walls is, can you give me a 630 OPS? 640 OPS? He can't even do that. And there comes a point where, I know we can talk small sample size all day, but he's had over 300 at-bats this year, now over 450 at-bats in his major league career. And what is it? It's a 66, 69 OPS plus. It's a 564, 580 OPS. It's a 175, 187 batting average. And an on-base percentage under 300. To me, and Ulises, we alluded to this on, it might have been the mailbag episode. It was earlier this week, but the Rays will have a decision to make when Wander Franco is back healthy and Manny Margot is back healthy. Yeah. And who all gets sent down. We've already seen the first piece of the puzzle of that solved with the Rays sending down Luke Raley for Harold Ramirez, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I think Taylor Walls might get sent down. He's got two options left. He's got two options.
First off, Wander Franco needs to be healthy.
Because, that's true.
First off, he leaves his first rehab game early with general soreness. And then Kevin Cash, I'm not concerned. He should be back in the lineup maybe on Thursday. Not back in the lineup on Thursday. It's a hand injury. I mean, to say I'm not concerned would be ridiculous. So until he's back in the lineup and he can make it through a whole 5 innings without getting hurt again, then, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if we want to, we need like a full hour to talk about the what if scenarios of this roster construction and what's going to happen, because you're absolutely right. I do not believe that the team is going to waive or designate Yu Chang for assignment, since he's earned that right. Margot's going to come back.
Why would you? He's been terrific. I even pulled stats because I wanted to go on a Yu Chang rant, Evan.
Well, you're not going to be able to do that. He's earned his spot. That's the way that you take advantage of an opportunity. So Margot's going to come back. I would almost imagine that Roman Quinn is going to be designated for assignment, that he is going to be the casualty. I like Roman Quinn. He's done all right with the Rays, but he has not done nearly what Yu Chang has done given his opportunities. So to me, Roman Quinn's expendable. He'll probably go. Margot slots in. There's your roster spot. But what's going to happen when Nick Anderson, JT Chigua, Brendan McKay, all these guys, Brendan McKay, who, by the way, had a tremendous rehab start in Durham, on Thursday. So, that is something that when you're dialing this up, it's like, okay, well, Yacobonis just got sent packing. So, for Louis Patino, does Patino get sent back down after the start? Sean Armstrong, does he get designated for assignment? Is there a surprise, in there that gets sent down who is performing well, but you just need to use the option to bring somebody up, and you start doing those like little games up until September when you can expand the rosters by a couple. So, that I'm sure the Rays are trying to make it to September 1 when they can add a couple more people to this roster, not do anything about it. But there is going to be some funky manipulation here. And to my accounts, because of Wander and the injury, he might not be back until September 1. And that might be best case scenario at this point. I don't know. It just, okay, if you're sore after one walk and one strikeout, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a concern when you have hand wrist issues. That those never are on track. It's never a normal, real projectable timetable at all. But assuming that he comes back and Margot comes back, okay, Roman Quinn, he's out. Margot's back in. You have I mean, unless I'm wrong here, the Rays have three possibilities for when Wander Franco gets called up or gets activated. Taylor Walls, Yu Chang, out of options, or Isaac Paredes, who has an option.
My guess.
Well, you want to keep the power, don't you, of Isaac Paredes?
My guess is you're going to send down Walls. If I had to guess, look, Walls would have been sent down a long time ago if Wander didn't get hurt. His time was coming, but he got hurt. So, I mean, Walls has had. They'll bring him back up in a week and a half. But
I think that's the right thing to do, is send Walls down because of what Yu Chang has been doing. But I don't know. The Rays will give you the changeup when you're expecting the fastball. And it just seems to me that they really, really like Taylor Walls' defense and how that helps the pitching staff and how they I feel like Taylor Walls. I think.
But do we know that?
Why wouldn't they give Yu Chang more of an opportunity at shortstop? They give it all to Walls. They really like him there.
No offense to Yu Chang, he's not part of the future. Taylor Wall, they're trying to give him,
I don't know if Taylor Walls is part of the future, though. He might be a guy. He might be a Billy Hamilton type that bounces around to 7 teams in 10 years, depending on what a team needs.
I agree. But the fact is, what Yu Chang could potentially give you offensively, probably if you were doing risk management, it's probably more noteworthy to have Taylor Walls there at short than to have Yu Chang. Now, the big question is Wander Franco going to be like, does the hand injury affect his fielding? And do the Rays feel like he's not going to be able to field every day? Because if he is going to be we're going to play him, sit him, DH him sort of deal, then you probably got to keep Walls, and then you might send down Isaac Paredes and have that defensive replacement in there because Walls is going to find a role. But if Wander is going to be slated in there and you can use Yu Chang as the other guy, then you probably send down Wallsy. But I mean, this all is predicated on Wander Franco, where his hand injury is at, and if they truly believe that when he comes back up, he's going to perform at shortstop the way that we're used to seeing him versus him playing 80% and just getting in the lineup every day. That I think is information we don't really have right now.
I'm scared that the team is going to opt in for defense instead of offense when that's exactly what they need. They need offense. You cannot send Isaac Paredes. I know he hasn't been the same guy since the AL Player of the Week award, but he is a guy that can come through. Yeah. He does have the he does have the OPS to talk about. He does have the extra base hits when you need them. Like, you cannot send him down. And Yu Chang, you know what? Just for my research sake, I will tell you what he has been up to since the All-Star break, because it's been amazing. 263, 326 on base, a 421 slug. He's a 118 WRC plus. I want this guy. You cannot let go of offense right now in a 2022 team that barely scratches 3 runs since the All-Star break.
And here's my Eric Neander changeup here. Are we getting emotional about Yu Chang? That do we believe that the Rays have unlocked something here, and I'm just being devil's advocate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Plain devil's advocate. Are we being emotional about what Yu Chang has done during his time with the Rays, or was Yu Chang from the beginning nothing more than getting us through the Wander Franco injury, and that whatever he's done, it's a mirage, and he's going to resort back to what he's been like, which is bouncing around from team to team and not necessarily being that much of an impact player moving forward.
That's what I see Taylor Walls as, honestly.
When the Yu Chang that's what we said about Yu Chang, though. When he came in, we were like, this is probably just a stopgap. But he has outdone himself as a stopgap. So do we not have the option to kind of collect our thoughts and say, wait, he was a stopgap, but have we uncovered something about his swing? Is this something that maybe we can foresee in the future for him? Because if they have the data, if they can see that maybe he has changed his swing path, or he's being a little bit more aggressive, or swinging at better pitches inside the zone, or not swinging outside the zone, not chasing, maybe that's something that repeatable that you could do. And maybe you can take the offense over the defense. And again, you don't have to DFA a guy. You can just option Walls, who has the options.
That's the big thing is if you're the Rays, I would imagine, again, you just have to make it to September 1. And then the guys who like to tinker the most in the Major League Baseball can do their tinkering with a couple of extra slots on the bench. And again, you can send down Paredes and Walls and just be like, hey, you're going to be there for 10 days. We'll see you soon. You know, I mean, it really, you have an option. We're going to use it. We don't have an option on you. We want more of him. And that's just the way it's going to be. And if
they did that with Josh Lowe. They did that with Josh Lowe. So
yeah, I mean, and then we're gonna have, in a week or two, a week and a half, we're gonna have to sit here and talk again about who comes up, what's the right combo. I would imagine again. I'm still interested to see who's coming up next as far as the relief pitching goes. I mean, I don't know. JT Chigua hasn't been as good in Durham. Nick Anderson, though giving up a home run on Thursday, has been a little bit better. It just, those two guys, I mean, JT last year, Nick Anderson, the World Series year, I mean, they've been integral parts of this bullpen. And, it's tough to imagine that if they're healthy, that they wouldn't be a more effective option than a couple of other people on the back end to strengthen what has really gotten you to this point.
Well,
no,
that
was a good point by Ulises about Yu Chang. Maybe the Rays did unlock something with him. They've done it with other, like, who would have thought Harold Ramirez would be on the track that he would be? Who would have thought Yandy Diaz would have as much success as he's had with the Rays? There's been other guys as well. And again, just based on very basic watching clips and highlights and so forth, it does seem like Yu Chang keeps his bat in the zone for quite a while, and it's just a nice, smooth, two-handed swing, not trying to do too much. And I trust him getting a sac fly, drawing a walk, getting an RBI single, tying a game with a homer, as opposed to Taylor Walls. And let's also not forget this. Yes, Yu Chang is not the shortstop defensively that Taylor Walls is, but he has taken away hits at short, not to mention the ability to play first base, second base, third base, and fill in at DH. That's a pretty valuable thing for the Rays going forward and in the present as well. So it's not going to be easy or it's going to be interesting to see what comes about this. For Taylor Walls, all I'm asking is give me a Cesar Izturis OPS, like 615, 620. That's all I'm asking, but I don't even know if I trust him to generate that. And maybe it's something that's going to have to be addressed in the offseason of, okay, maybe you do the Cedric Mullins approach and give up the switch hitting angle and just focus on hitting from the left side or right side. I think all his home runs are from the left side this year. So maybe it's that. But whatever he's doing right now, it clearly isn't working offensively, even with this regular playing time where you would assume that, building up confidence defensively and getting as many opportunities as he has, that he'd figure it out. And there's going to come a point where he's going to get surpassed by a Jonathan Aranda, by a Curtis Mead, by a Xavier Edwards. There's always a next guy coming up. And that could be the case with Josh Lowe too. So I just wonder about the future of Taylor Walls with this team. I mean, obviously for this year, this year he's stuck, but in the off season or sometime next year, I'm curious to see what happens with that.
He has gotten a little bit better. I think in the season, he has got a 70 WRC plus. Since the All-Star break, he's at 89 WRC plus. So we have seen some slight improvement, but the slash line, it really is underperforming.
Yes,
is not the right word. You need to find the next thing after underperforming. You guys know that it's a Friday, so that means it's trivia. It's a fun Friday. So I'll start with this question. Did you know the key to sustainable weight loss is through your liver? Well, because that's the liver that is the body's metabolic furnace. It's responsible for flushing out harmful toxins and igniting your fat-burning metabolism. But thanks to modern diets rich in unhealthy processed foods that we hate and constant exposure to thousands of man-made and environmental toxins, most of us have overworked livers, which sucks. But now it's easy to help your liver and rejuvenate it and reignite your metabolism. And you can do that with Liver Health Formula by Pure Health Research. Liver Health Formula contains 8 liver-boosting supernutrients like turmeric, beet, and artichoke extract. That means no more bloated belly. That means no more uncomfortable digestion. And that means no more feeling tired and low on energy all the time. You would actually wake up a sluggish liver, just like Francisco Mejia woke up an offense in the 10th inning, and he was super happy. That'll be you if you try this today, Liver Health Formula. And you can get it by being a listener of our show by trying Liver Health Formula risk-free today. And you also get a free bottle of CurbFit with your order, which is a safe and all-natural appetite suppressant, making it easy to say no to naughty food. So go today to getliverhelp.com/MLB to learn more. I'll say it again. Getliverhelp.com/MLB.
I'm glad you brought up Francisco Mejia because his hitting so far this season prompted my interest in this trivia question, which I'll get to. But again, just want to reiterate this about Taylor Walls. If the Rays were willing to dump Brett Phillips, I think they would, because of lack of offense, I think they'd be willing to dump Taylor Walls. I think Taylor Walls, again, hear me out. He's going to play a decade in the bigs, but it's going to be for like 7-8 different teams.
Okay, bold prediction.
You don't believe it?
That's a hot take. That's a hot take. I think just like
10 is
Phillips,
name every great or really, really outstanding defensive player that has no bat. They bounce around.
Not this less of a bat though. Like the bat needs to improve. For 10
you don't
years?
think he's going to last a decade in the bigs?
If he hits like this, no way.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like literally, like I love Brett, but if Brett it's 150, he's going to be gone in Major League Base. He won't be in the bigs for another 2 years. Like I think Brett Phillips is closer to retirement than he is to extending his MLB career based on what we saw this year. I mean, you know, to me, I don't think he's a guy that's going to backpedal into AAA and try to work his way back up. I think he might move on to bigger and better things. But, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Brett had a phenomenal year last year. Can't hit now. And next year will be a telltale sign of whether he can tap into what it was in 2021. But, yeah, I mean, if Walsey can't prove that he can hit above the Mendoza line, it's just no matter what, he has an uphill climb. Yeah. But
you want to draw parallels? You want to draw parallels, Evan, with Brett Phillips? You know, or Kevin rather. You would need to see Walls in this team maybe a year more, just like Brett Phillips 2020, 2021, and 2022. You might see Taylor Walls one more go around. Like, hey, we are not giving up on this. You're coming in.
The fact is, Taylor Walls is probably nothing more than a backup defensive replacement, and he's been thrust into a starting role the entire year because of injuries, and it's exposed him. So Taylor Walls, I think, is a guy that normally you'd be stoked to see on a limited basis, and he would help you out and make these great plays, but he's not a 150-game guy. He's just not yet. I mean, go prove me wrong.
No,
would applaud it. I'm just saying that that's what it is.
And one more thing, because I know that some people that listen to our show are more analytic based. So if they just hear batting average, they might just tune this whole argument out. So I want to say, hey, no matter what offensive category you're looking at, look at the K rate, 26%. That's not good. ISO 119. If you're looking at WRC plus, he's at 70. BSR -0.4. It's just the hard hit percentage has gone down from last year. Exit velo gone down as well. It doesn't matter what you look at, what offensive metric you look at. Taylor Walls is underperforming.
I just looked this up real quick. Cesar Izturis played 39 different teams. Not saying Walls is going to have that long of a career, but
did he hit 170 throughout the whole thing?
He hit like 260, didn't he?
Yeah, but his OPS was 610, 615 for his career.
Different times. Average
different
matters.
Times. Yeah, no.
Okay, whatever. Six WAR in 13 years. Regardless.
Boo this man.
Boo
Boo
man.
him.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out. I think is Torres an all-star? Do you imagine Taylor Wells as an all-star?
Anybody can be an all-star once. Anybody can be an all-star once. We've seen a lot of one-time all-stars.
I won't disagree with that.
Don't do S after that. I'll just leave it like that.
Let's make Taylor Wells an all-star. But
all right. Trivia. There are 12 catchers in MLB history with at least 2,000 career hits. I want each of you to name 3 apiece for 6 total.
Bench.
Johnny Bench is number 11 on this list with 2,048 career hits. And you guys can go. Whoa! This is kind of cheating. We'll let Ulises get an answer.
No, I heard his name. So check it if it's okay.
What is it?
Piazza.
He said P. Yeah.
Of course. Mike Piazza is on here. 2,127 hits. He is 8th all-time and in the Hall of Fame, by the way, as is Johnny Bench. So Ulises, I'll let you get 2 guesses in a row.
Carlton Fisk.
He is number 3 on this list, 2,356.
I'm going to go with Ivan Rodriguez.
He is number 1 on this list with 2,844. Evan, your turn.
Gary Carter.
Gary Carter is on this list, number 10 with 2,092 hits.
I want to be perfect. I want to be perfect with no strikes, so I'm going to go Roy Campanella.
That is strike 1.
Son of a bleep. Okay.
You want? So is it Evan's turn or no? I'm confused.
Yeah. He can. I mean, I have one more guess. That's it.
Okay. Go for it.
I'll go Jason Varitek.
Jason Varitek is incorrect. Strike 2.
Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra is correct. Number 6 on this list with 2,150. By the way, of these 12 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are in the Hall of Fame. So you have in order Ivan Rodriguez, Ted Simmons, Carlton Fisk, underrated Jason Kindle. He could hit.
That was my next guess. That was literally my next guess.
Good one, Evan. That would have been good.
Damn it. I thought we were going to keep going, but I had Varitek and Kendall.
That was good.
Victor Martinez.
Ah, nice.
Yogi Berra. Yes. You all didn't name him. Yadi Molina, still active.
Oh, wow.
Mike Piazza. I'm a little bit surprised none of you all guessed this one. Joe Mauer. Then Gary Carter, Johnny Bench, and a little bit of a dark horse here. AJ Pierzynski. 2000.
Good played. Good play, man.
I need to look up how many Jason Varitek had. I thought I was going for longevity, but maybe it was a quicker career than I thought.
No, I think he played a long time. I just don't know if he racked up. I mean, this is a pretty elite list.
Yeah, he had 1,300. Woof.
Oh,
woof.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a 3-time All-Star. I mean, guy played like 1,500 plus games. He played from like 98 to 2011, whatever. Okay.
I mean, I would have thought you would have gone like Jorge Posada before Jason Varitek.
Posada was also on my list. It was literally my 3 guesses for my strikes are going to be, it was Varitek, Kendall, Posada were like my next 3 in my head. But I'm really upset. I didn't think Mauer and Molina were not up there, which is bad by me.
Well, boys, it's the second part of trivia, which is called Name That War. If you've not seen this segment of our show, well, it's when we take a player from the past and we look up his career baseball reference. Of course, they have to be not active, so they have to be retired. And then we guess their career baseball reference war. So today we have, drum roll, please, Alex Rios. What is Alex Rios's baseball reference career?
Oh, my Lord. Alex Rios?
Oh, yeah.
He had like maybe 2 really good seasons, I feel like, and everything else was kind of whatever. I could be wrong on that, but that's just my memory.
Let me go out and say this. I think you're wrong on that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, different opinions here. This is going to be a good name that war. Okay. Now, no cheating. You're looking a lot to somewhere else, Kevin.
I'm looking
Hands
at
up,
Jorge
baby.
Posada. All I'm looking at is how many. I'm looking at Jorge Posada's career line. That's it.
How many hits did he have? 18?
1,664.
Yeah. Well, boys, what's it going to be? Alex Rios' career baseball reference war.
Who's going first?
Evan, you're our guest, so you get to decide if you want to go first or you want to Price is Right this thing.
I think it's a cop out if I go second.
Good.
So
I think
will,
so too, Evan.
I'll go with 24.5.
24.5. Okay. Kevin?
That's interesting because I would have thought you would have gone quite a bit lower. I guess I might have given things away a little bit in saying that I disagreed with Evan. I think that I could be wrong on my facts here. I've been wrong before on my facts many a times. But I think Alex Rios had like a really good run with the Blue Jays, like a good 5, 6, 7 years. And then I want to say he signed a big deal with maybe the White Sox and then flamed out after that, like well over $100 million deal or something close to it. I think that career war's probably pretty much in line with what I was going to say, but I'll go slightly higher. I'll go 26 career war for Alex Rios. And I bet his career OPS is probably over 800 too.
Well, you are very close, both of you. Very good. I will tell you, Kevin, you probably helped Evan. And Evan, you probably helped Kevin too, because Alex Rios' career war is 27.3.
Look at that.
27.3. Look at this guy. 277 batting average, a 321 on base, 434 slug. So you were just a little bit overachieving there for Alex Rios' OPS. He had a 755 OPS. He had an OPS plus of 100, which is ridiculous because he was a 2-time All-Star. He was a 2015 World Series champ. And you are right. He killed it with Toronto. Those were his back-to-back All-Star years in 06 and 07, where he had 17 home runs, batted 302. The other year was 24 home runs, batted 297. So he was a threat at the plate there. 865 OPS and an 852 OPS in back-to-back years. So pretty impressive stuff by Alex Rios. And then on his final year, guys, imagine that. You play 12 years, Toronto, the White Sox. You go to Texas for a couple of years. You think, okay, this is it for me. I'm going to go to the Royals. Guess what? You get your bleeping ring on your last freaking year. How about that?
That's right. Yeah, you helped me out a smidge, but I was doing it as I was like, if I think in my head he had 2 really good years, I put him at like a 4 or a 4-5 in those 2 years, and then I was like, okay, if he played a 10-year career, I'll just put him at like what was the average
20
there? Like
or something.
Yeah,
like 10, like
something like. So I was just whatever it was, 2, 18, not whatever, and then I was like, okay, the math was like a little bit higher than I wanted, so I actually dipped it down because like maybe 10 years is too much. Maybe it was an 8-year career, but that was a good name. That was a good one.
No, that was a really good one. I honestly thought that he had more homers. I thought he was more of a 25 to 30 homer guy, but it sounds like he was more of a 17 to 24.
No, he
was.
was.
Maybe I was getting him mixed up with Vernon Wells as part of that Blue Jays contingent.
Honestly,
Vernon Wells signed he signed a big deal after leaving the Blue Jays, and not surprisingly, crapped
to
out
the
with
Angels.
His 2006 career is what I kind of want to see from Wander Franco, like, and this is listen to this line. I know we're running out of time here, but I mean, this was only in 128 games, by the way. He had 17 homers, 82 ribbies, also 39 doubles and triples combined, and batted 302, 349 OBP, and only had 89 strikeouts in nearly 500 at bats.
That's a sexy line right there. That's a sexy line. I like it.
He stole 42 bags near the end of his career. Wow. It's so weird. The older he got, the more bags he stole.
That is true.
He wasn't like a small like slash and dash guy. He was 6'5". Big dude.
Yeah.
2013, he stole 42 bags.
As a 32-year-old.
As a 32-year-old.
A 32-year-old is like Jose Altuve, the only guy at 32 who's also doing that. Like, who's doing that at 32?
Yeah.
That was his farewell tour a little bit. Because after that 2013 season, he fell off a damn cliff and was out of the league in 2 years. That
can happen. That can happen. That's for sure.
All right, that'll do it for the Locked On Alex Rios podcast. Thank you for making not Locked On Alex Rios, but Locked On Rays your very first listen every day. Now make your second listen to the Locked On MLB podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.